Okay, let's get started. I want to thank you all for joining this live session. I really appreciate it. So right now we are in Unit 3 Dynamics, and these are the lessons we'll complete today. These are using Newton's second law, using Newton's third law, and universal gravitation. So I always encourage you to maintain your pace, and then by the end of this week, you should be able to complete those 3 lessons in your courseware as well. Let's start with using Newton's second law. The goal or objective of this lesson is, after this lesson, we should be able to solve the problem that involves application of Newton's second law of motion in one dimension. So we'll use Newton's second law of motion to solve a real world problems as well. At first, let's briefly go through Newton's second law of motion, and then we'll solve the problems related to Newton's second law of motion. So Newton's second law of motion states that acceleration of an object is directly proportional to the net force acting on it and inversely proportional to its mass. So that means acceleration is directly proportional to the net force. That sum as F means net force and inversely proportional to mass. And then the direction of the acceleration is always in the direction of the net force acting on the object. So if we combine those two, acceleration is directly proportional to mass, inversely proportional to mass, we'll get net force is equal to mass times acceleration. Net force is equal to mass times acceleration, where m is the mass and a is the acceleration of the object. Okay. Net force is equal to mass times acceleration, and then we can simplify that equation, or you can rearrange that equation, and then we can write that equation in any of those forms. Acceleration is net force over mass, or mass is equal to net force over acceleration. So that is all about Newton's second law of motion. After that, we'll work on the problems related to Newton's second law of motion. If you have any questions about Newton's second law of motion, please let me know. I'll wait for some time. And if you understood this concept, please give me a thumbs up. I just want to make sure that you are following me. Thank you very much. And then if you actively participate in this live session, I'll write your name and then you'll get extra points. That means even if you did not get good score in your unit activity post test, then I'll give extra points so that your grade will be improved. Let's walk through this problem. The question is, when a net force of 17 newtons is applied to a dictionary placed on a frictionless table, it accelerates by 3.75 meters per second. What is the mass of the book? So we'll use Newton's second law of motion, that equation. Net force is equal to mass times acceleration. And we can simply write net force as just F, okay? This is net force is your mass times acceleration. And then we do have force, we do have acceleration, so use those information to calculate mass. Okay, I'll give you around 1 minute to solve this problem and then answer this problem. Take your time, plug in force and acceleration and calculate the value of mass. And once you calculate, make sure to answer your question in poll as well, or you can write your answer in chat, You can just annotate in the screen and then circle the choice, which is the correct choice. I'll wait for some time more and then I'll answer this question. Okay, thank you for the participation. Let me end the polling. So net force is given 17 Newton. Let's just use the value. Okay, I'll write the unit at the end. And then mass we have to calculate. Acceleration is 3.75. So to calculate mass, divide both sides by 3.75. And 3.75 got cancelled. 17 over 3.75 is, let me check that value, around 4.53 kilogram. That is the mass. So the correct choice is B, that is 4.53 kilogram. Mass of the book is 4.53 kilogram. So at first we used F is equal to ma, net force is mass times acceleration, and then we plug in the value of net force and acceleration to solve for mass. Now let's go to the next problem. This problem, I'll do this problem for you all. A car of mass 100 kilogram is moving initially at a speed of 22 meters per second. When the brakes are applied, it takes car 3 seconds to stop. What is the force required to stop the car? So net force again, let's start from here at first, okay? And then we'll calculate all the values we need to calculate the force. Force is equal to mass times acceleration. We know the mass. Let me write this. Mass. Initially speed is 22 meter per second. Time is 3 seconds. Seconds to stop. Whenever car stops, its final velocity is 0. So we do have those information: mass, initial velocity, time, and then final velocity. Based on those information, think how can we calculate acceleration? Okay, and then you can write your answer in chat, or you can annotate, or you can turn on your mic and answer that question. How can we calculate acceleration of the car when we apply the brake? Okay. Let me write on the second column. To calculate acceleration, we'll use velocity equation. That is one of the kinematics equation. Final velocity is your initial velocity plus acceleration times t. Substitute all those values and calculate acceleration. Final velocity is 0, initial velocity is 22. A, we have to calculate acceleration, t is your 3 seconds. Subtract both sides by 20, subtract 22 on both sides. Negative 22 is your A times 3, divide both sides by 3. So acceleration is negative 22 over 3 is around negative 7.3 meter per second square. In that way, we have calculated acceleration. Once we know the acceleration, we'll substitute mass and acceleration to get the force. Mass is 1000, acceleration. Here we are just calculating the magnitude of force, so you can neglect that negative sign. Just use 7.3. So it becomes 7.3 times 10 to the power 3. Unit of force is newtons. So 7.3 times 10 to the power 3 newtons force is required to stop the car. Correct choice is C. First, we wrote force is equal to mass times acceleration, but we didn't know the value of acceleration, so we used velocity equation to calculate the value of acceleration. Once we got the value of acceleration, we substituted back, and then we found the value. We have calculated the value of force to stop the car. Please let me know about this question. This question is a little bit difficult. So if you have any question, I'll clarify it again. And if you understand this concept, please give me a thumbs up so that I can move to the next question. Okay, thank you very much. Now let's go to the next question. So in our next question, Ellie is pushing a box of mass 7 kilograms. Mass is 7 kilograms with the force of 25 newtons. And then if the force of friction is 2.6 newtons, what is the value of acceleration of the box? So here, let me make that box here, surface, box. Applied force is, I'll write F, applied, 25 newtons. And then force of friction is in opposite direction of applied force. I'll write F, force of friction is 2.6, I'll just write newtons. Let me write everything newtons. And mass is given. So first thing we have to calculate is net force. Summation F is equal to mass times acceleration. And the net force is the force of friction opposes the motion of the box. That means to calculate net force, we have to subtract force due to friction from the applied force. That is 25 minus 2.6, that is net force. And then substitute the value of mass and calculate acceleration. So let me give you some times to answer this question. I have launched the poll. Take your time, do your calculation, and calculate the value of acceleration. And then I'll solve this problem again. Let me tell you. And so there is some typo on this question. These all are second square, okay? Second square. The unit of acceleration is meters per second square. Okay, let me wait for a few seconds more and then I'll solve this problem. So net force is applied force minus frictional force. Okay, thank you everybody for the participation. So net force is 25 minus 2.6, that is net applied force minus frictional force. Mass is 7, and acceleration we have to calculate. 25 minus 2.6 is your 22.4 Newton, and that is 7.0 times acceleration. Divide both sides by 7.0 or 7, just 7. That's the same thing. And then that is 22.4 divided by 7 is 3.2. 3.2 unit is meter per second square is the acceleration. So the correct choice is C. So at first, we use Newton's second law of motion. That equation is net force is mass times acceleration. We have calculated net force and substitute everything to get the value of acceleration. So we have solved some of the problems related to Newton's second law of motion. Now let's go to the Newton's third law of motion. So as you have heard about Isaac Newton, he is the one who came with the idea of Newton's third law of motion. And he described that Forces between two, it is the first scientist to accurately describe the forces between two interacting objects. He argued that in an interaction between two objects, both the objects are acted unequally. And he summarized that whenever one object exerts a force on a second object, the second object also exerts equal force in opposite direction on the first object. And if we call one force the reaction, if we call one force as action and another force as reaction, then Newton's third law can be described in this way. That is last point. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Let me clarify that. Let me make one diagram here. Let us suppose object A is exerting certain force to object B. This is object A and object B. Like that and object B like that. Okay. Object A is exerting certain force FAB to object B, and object B will exert the same force towards object B to the opposite direction. And these two forces are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. That means force due to A on B is equal to force due to B on A, negative B on A. So in that way, we can describe Newton's third law of motion. For every action, there is equal and opposite reaction. If this F of AB is action, then FBA is a reaction. Please let me know if you have any question about Newton's third law of motion. Now let's talk about friction. As you know that friction is a contact force. That means, let me describe in that way. So in generally, there are two types of forces. One is contact force, another is field force. The example of contact forces are frictional force, tension force, normal force. So in contact forces, the surface of the objects touches each other. And then frictional force arises when one of the two objects in physical contact moves or attempts to move across the surface of the other objects. If one object tries to move across the surface of another object, there will be always frictional force. And then to calculate frictional force, we can use this equation. Frictional force is equal to mu, this is read as mu, that is coefficient of friction times normal force. Normal force. Frictional force is coefficient of friction times normal force. And then if the object is at rest, that frictional force is called static frictional force, mu s times Fn. Static frictional force, coefficient of F of mu of s is coefficient of static friction, and then Fn is exactly same normal force. And if the object is moving, the frictional force at that time is kinetic frictional force, Fk, and that is equal to mu k times F of n, and this mu k is your coefficient of kinetic friction this time. Of kinetic friction. Kinetic friction. But if you remember this first equation, frictional force is mu times F of n, you will be fine. Now, from Newton's third law of motion, let's go to the universal gravitation. So in this lesson, we'll describe the universal nature of gravity and then solve two body gravity problems. So we'll go through Newton's law of gravitation, and then I will solve different problems related to two-body gravity problems. That is the goal of this lesson. Let's start with universal law of gravitation. So based on the motion of the planet, Newton proposed that force of gravity follows an inverse square law with respect to the distance between two bodies. And let us suppose if we are talking about mass of the earth and any other object, let us suppose we do have one object at the surface of the earth. This is the center of the earth. And the distance between mass of the object and center of the earth is r. And then mass of the earth is simply me. Then force of gravity is inversely proportional to the distance between the mass of the object and the earth, center of the earth, and directly proportional to product of those two masses, mass of earth and then mass of object. If we combine those two equations and solve it, we'll get force of gravity G, capital G, that is universal gravitational constant, times mass of or mass of object over r square. G is the universal gravitational constant here. And you can write that equation f of G, or whenever you go through your tutorial, you can write that equation f of G, that is force due to gravity or force of gravity is universal gravitational constant times product of those two masses over r square. Now we can calculate that value of G, and that the value of G is universal gravitational constant, and then this value is equal anywhere in this universe. It does not change. The value of G is 6.673 times 10 to the power negative 11 Newton meter square per kilogram square. In our daily life, we don't experience any gravitational force, but it is very significant for celestial objects with huge masses like Earth, Sun, Moon, and the galaxy. Now let's talk about Newton's law of gravitation. And after that, we'll calculate acceleration of gravity, and then we'll solve some of the problems related to Newton's law of gravitation. So objects attract other objects with a force that is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. This force acts regardless of the medium that separates the two objects. So I read that from the slide. Now let me explain it. Let us suppose if we have two objects with masses m1 and m2, and the distance between these two objects is r, then force of attraction, that is Fg, directly proportional to the product of the masses and inversely proportional to their distance. If we combine those two, we'll get that equation. And then when we remove this proportionality constant, we'll get f of G is equal to G times product of masses over r square. I'll pause here for some time. If you have any question, please let me know. And if you are getting this concept, please give me a thumbs up or any other reaction. so that I can move on. Okay, thank you. Now we'll apply the universal law of gravitation to calculate acceleration due to gravity. Okay, let us suppose, let me make one diagram, okay, here. So suppose this is Earth, okay, and then mass of Earth is ma. Let us suppose we do have any object with mass m of that object is at a distance r from the center of the Earth. And here at this point, somewhere here, we want to calculate g, that is acceleration due to gravity. So to calculate this, the acceleration of to calculate acceleration of gravity, we'll use two equations and those equations are force due to gravity. At first, as we know that force is equal to force of gravity is your mass times gravity. So at this point, so F of g is your mass of object times gravity, and the value of that g is 9.8 meter per second square at sea level. From new universal law of gravitation, force of gravity is g, capital G, times product of those masses, mass of the Earth and object over r square. And then if we put those results together, it becomes mass of object times g, and then we wrote it here. And then mass of object got cancelled. And if we cancel those mass of object, we got g, that is acceleration of gravity is capital G times mass of Earth over r square. And then this acceleration of gravity is for mass of the Earth. And if we are calculating acceleration of gravity for any other celestial object, let us suppose if we are calculating acceleration of gravity of moon, then we'll replace that mass of Earth by mass of moon over r square. So that means we have to replace that mass, and then we have to replace that distance between, and we have to calculate the distance between mass of the object and the mass of that planet. In that way, we can calculate acceleration of gravity. Now let's go to the next slide. Okay, now let's work on some of the problem related to Newton's law of gravitation or universal law of gravitation. Okay, the question is the value of acceleration due to gravity on Pluto is 0.61 meter per second square. How much will an object that weighs 250 newtons on Earth weighs on Pluto? Note that the value of acceleration due to gravity on Earth is 9.8 meter per second square. So let me write on one column Pluto. I'll make two columns here. Column is the Earth. Let's write those information here. Pluto, acceleration of gravity on Pluto is 0.61 meter per second square. And then how much will an object that weighs 250 newtons on Earth? So that object's weight is 250 newtons on Earth. And then we have to calculate how much that object weigh on Pluto. Fg is equal to what? This is a question mark. Note that the value of acceleration due to gravity on Earth is 9.8 meter per second square. These are the information we know right now. And then weight of the object is your mass times gravity on Pluto, sorry. But we don't know the value of mass. So from Earth system, I'll just say Earth system, we have to calculate the mass of the object, and mass of the object is constant. So its value is same in Earth as well as on Pluto. So let's calculate the mass of that object. So force of gravity or weight of that object is your mass times acceleration of gravity, and we do have f of g, that is 250. Mass we have to calculate, g is 9.8. Divide both sides by 9.8, and then 250 over 9.8 is 25.51. You can use your calculator, kg. That is the mass of that object. And then we'll substitute that value here on Pluto. Because mass of the object is constant quantity, it does not change. 25.51, g is 0.6, and that is equal to 15.6 newtons. The correct choice is B. Okay, let me explain this problem again. So at first write all the information we do have from the question, and then we have to calculate weight on the Pluto, and weight is mass times gravity acceleration mg. G is acceleration due to gravity. We don't know mass, so from Earth we use that weight 250 newtons to calculate mass, and then we substitute that mass to calculate weight on the Pluto. Okay, I'll pause here for some times. If you have any question about this problem, please let me know. Now let's go to the next problem. So let me read this problem, and then I'll give you some times to work on this problem. Object A attracts object B with a gravitational force of 10 newtons from a given distance. So let me make that diagram. This is object A, object B. Distance is, let us suppose, R. And then force of gravity Fg is your 10 Newton here. Now, if the distance between the two objects is doubled, the distance is double, so R becomes twice R. Twice R, we have to calculate force due to gravity. And then force of gravity is your G times M1, M2 over R square. Okay. So use those information on the screen and try to answer this question. So you have to calculate what is the new force of attraction between them when the distance gets doubled. Let me launch the poll, and then I'll give you around 2 minutes to solve this problem. Use those information and try to calculate new force of attraction. Okay. Okay, let me cross that window. Almost all of you have answered, so let me work through this problem, okay? So let me write that force force of gravity is your Fg is your G. I'll write ma for that object A, mass of the object A as ma, mb as mass of object B, and r square. The distance between them is, let us suppose, r. Force of gravity is 10 Newton. Is force of attraction as well. G, I'll write everything as it is. Over this. Now in second case, distance between two objects, I'll write that dash, okay, so that we'll not have any confusion. Between the two objects is doubled, and then we have to calculate force of gravity or force of attraction, things like that. G, ma, mb. So mass are same and universal gravitational constant is same, but r becomes twice r, so it becomes twice r square. Let's simplify it. It becomes G, ma, mb. 2r is your 2 times 2 is your 4, so it becomes 4r square. Now let's look from here. So G ma over ma times mb over r square is 10. So you can see here that part is equal to 10. So it becomes 10 over 4. 10 over 4 is your 2.5 newtons. So that means when the distance is double, the new force of attraction between them is 2.5 newtons. Correct choice is A, 2.5 newtons. Now let's go back and summarize everything, whatever we did today. Go back. So today we went through these three lessons. First one is Newton's second law of motion. Let me briefly explain that. So whenever we apply certain force to an object, the acceleration produced on that object is directly proportional to the net force and inversely proportional to the mass. And if we combine those two, we get net force is equal to mass times acceleration. That is all about Newton's second law of motion. And then we solved some of the problems related to Newton's second law of motion. Newton's third law, it states that for every action, there is equal and opposite reaction. So for two objects, if this object is exerting certain force to the object B, then object B will exert exactly same magnitude of force in the opposite direction. That is Newton's second law of motion. And we also talked about Newton's law of gravitation. That is force of attraction between two objects is directly proportional to the product of masses, inversely proportional to distance between them, and then if we combine those two and solve, we got Fg, that is gravitational force is G m1 m2 over r square. Okay. So we have completed those three lessons using Newton's second law, using Newton's third law, and universal gravitation. So we do have around 1 minute left. If you have any question, please stay here with me and ask that question. If you do not have any question, you can leave this live session. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining this live session. I'll stop sharing. If you have any question, please let me know. Okay, bye-bye.